Hey everyone, welcome to Insider Movies 17 Part 2. So I am back to just talk about the movies themselves. So the last one we talked about Oscars 2018. It was our very first Oscars episode for Insider Movies. We are a new channel, so we have not done that before. So I am very happy to have you with us. I'm very happy to actually do it. I realized I was like, I am telling a lot of secrets that I haven't told before. And I was like, oh, it's because it's the Oscars. It's because it's the Oscars. It's the biggest Hollywood event of the year. No wonder I just spilled like a ton of stuff that I haven't been spilling before. So, yeah, I just kind of dumped it all. So that's good though. That's really, really good. It's kind of the appropriate time to do it. So that's what I did. All right. So moving on, we're going to talk about, the two movies that I talked about right at the very end. Let's actually discuss the movies that I was talking about. They are both on our list. They're His Girl Friday and they are The Station Agent, which, sorry, I love The Station Agent. So you would have to research into it to find out that that's actually a Weinstein movie. Like, that's one of the things that I noticed. Like, you'd have to wait. It was like Miramax. But if you actually look it up, well, you'll find out The Station Agent is actually Tom Clancy, or Tom Clancy. I believe it's Tom Clancy. He is the guy that did Spotlight. And because of The Station Agent, because he did such a good job on The Station Agent, like, it really got critical review. And it was back when you could get critical review if you actually did a good movie. That can't happen anymore. Like, if you do a good movie, it's not gonna take flight. Like, once they saw that, like, there was an American voice, like, once they found out that, like, America could, like, if they had the chance to vote outside, like, a political line, they would. When they found out that there was, like, an alive voice, that people weren't as, like, you know, beaten down as they said. Like, that's, if you notice, like, that's when all of a sudden YouTube shut down. That's all of a sudden when all the censorship started. That's when Antifa started rioting. Like, I noticed Ben Shapiro, when I started researching, like, the other side, it was interesting. Ben Shapiro is one of the conservative speakers, and he said something really interesting. He said the year before, like 2015, he went to Berkeley, and there was no rioting. He went to Berkeley, he spoke, it was just fine, no problems. The next year, Antifa, like, rioted and burned things to the ground. And that's what's really scary, is not only did that happen, but then, you know, Berkeley administrators came out and said that it was the right-wingers. Right at the same time as Antifa was out there on the news station saying, we shut it down, we're proud of it, like, BAM, B-A-M-N, like, by any means necessary. That's what it stands for. So that was really, like, terrifying. And if you look up their flag, like, the actual flag of Antifa, like, look that up. Like, the history of that flag is terrifying. So, like, the actual videos, like, if you get the street videos, none of the news channels are actually reporting. Like, even the reporting that was done, like, there was a news station that actually reported what Antifa did. And I was just like, they covered up so much of what was actually done. Like, they're not showing actual street videos. So, like, even that is being paid. Like, the sponsors are even telling them to, like, tone it down so that, you know, the American people don't actually know what's happening on the streets. It's really sad. We really are a generation, or generations, that has to do our own research, especially now that history is dying. So please, please donate to the server fund, because I'm trying to back stuff up, but I had already, before I started the server fund, I had bought like 4 terabyte, and I'm like filling them up right now. And I'm just kind of like, please, 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 like, let's get the server going. So, we can actually do that and donate $1. And if you can, please donate more so we can back all that stuff up. So anyway, but The Station Agent, it was made back, I think it was 2008, and it was made when you could actually, just at that very last moment, it was just when Obama was going in office, when you could actually get in, when things didn't go so far, when the certain agencies that funded stuff, they didn't start funding it so hard. So you could actually get in. The journalists weren't bought so much, so you could get in with good movies, and he did. This guy actually got in with good movies, and so because of that, he went up and he rose up to the top because he was an excellent filmmaker. And then he made Spotlight, which I love it. I was watching Spotlight again, and I want to tell you something. Like, this is how good he is. This is how good of a filmmaker he is. And like, this is what I mean. Like, I'm not, like, you could disagree. Like, I was watching a Ben Shapiro thing with the research, and he had said, like, he thought Spotlight was like it. And remember, I was like, oh my God, like, Spotlight I said it was like heaven in the middle of all these terrible movies and nominations. And I'll tell you, like, one of the things that I saw in Spotlight, like, there was this directing thing that he did. If you notice in the direction of the movie, there is this thing where it's always, if you notice the direction, he always does this sort of thing. In the very beginning of the movie, it starts like this. They're walking down a hallway, and it moves like that, and it goes wide. And he's always, and they do that a lot. They start with lines, right? And then suddenly the camera moves this way. Sorry, the camera moves this way for you guys. And he does that continually. Continually, he'll go into a room, move in, and then he cuts. And what he's doing is he's saying, we were on the straight and narrow. The church was on the straight and narrow, and this is wrong. Like, they went off. Everyone's following the path, and they went off. And he just does that subtly. That is the kind of camera work of a genius. Like, that is genius camera work. That is what they did in All the President's Men. When they moved back, when they had this small little man in the middle of this huge, they would like pull out, like they would have like the guys like walking down, and they'd be like in the middle, and then the camera would pull out, and it would all of a sudden show like the men in the middle of this, you know, huge DC, like this huge DC complex. And it would show the building so massive, and it'd be like these little guys are up against this massive DC complex. That's important. Like, that's really, really important. Like, those are the subtle things. That's what a good director is supposed to do. There's supposed to be a message. When you are a director, you're not supposed to just, today, they're just like, they all do the same camera shots. Like, all that stuff is pre-programmed. Like, parents today are always like investing in their kids. They don't realize that all that stuff is pre-programmed into video editors today. They don't realize their kids aren't actually making any of that stuff. All that stuff's pre-programmed. Like, parents should go in and find out about the pre-editor stuff. All the stuff that's pre-programmed in. It's what you do with that stuff and the message that you're putting behind it and the timing and all the stuff. That's what's genius. And I was just like, this stuff that this guy did. And his first film was The Station Agent. And I love it not just because it's like, it's exactly what American values are. It has 3 different people at totally different points in their lives. And what happens, it's something real that happens to all of us. Any one of us could be any one of those people. It has 3 different personalities. It has 3 like totally different, like it has different nationalities. It has different, like it has like it's actually, now that I think about it, it's 3 minorities, but I don't think about it that way. I don't think Americans think about it that way, because we're not. We have come so far that that's not the way you look at the movie. You just think this is 3 of us coming together. It's very entertaining, and you just love it. It's a simple film. And I gotta say, like, not one of the reviews was like, it's 3 minorities. No, like, that's identity politics that they want you to think in order to divide us, like in order to make us unhappy and divide us and make us fight among ourselves, so that we're not paying attention to the fact that, you know, our government is totally being bought, and our amendments will fall, and we won't have a constitution, and then it's all over. It just, look at what happened in Europe. Oh my gosh. Like, oh my gosh. It's terrifying what's happening in Europe and in Canada. Like, there is just all out war on Western culture. Like, and when I say Western culture, I don't mean white. I mean freedom of speech. Like, that's what I mean. Like, freedom of speech, equality for all, freedom of religion for all. Those are the 3 things under attack. Freedom of speech, equality for all, freedom of religion for all, freedom to practice it. Those are the things that are under attack. You know what I mean? So those are just being like wiped out, and it was planned. It was absolutely planned. That was the goal. That's the plan. And that was the plan behind the Oscars 2018. That is the plan. That is the plan. It is a very well executed plan. Genius plan. But once you see it, then you're just kind of like, oh, and you can just see it when you go through Twitter. I'm like, yeah, I bought. And I'm just like, I don't get upset anymore. It's nice. So it's so nice not to be pushed and pulled and think that America is so divided. I mean, it's nice to think that we are the one nation that hasn't fallen. Like, Canada is falling and Europe may be falling, but we're not. Why is that? That's how strong we are. That is how strong we are. And that's why they're coming down so hard on Oscars 2018. That's why they're driving so hard, because we aren't. Our back isn't breaking. We are standing up for those 3 things, no matter how hard they push us. And they want us to make us feel like we're alone, but we're not, you guys. We're so united. We are really, we really do see each other as equals. We really do like each other as much as they want to tell us that we don't. We do. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching this channel, you know, like a disabled, freakish woman that sits at home alone all the time and is sick and is in her bed half the time and then up half the time and doesn't wear makeup and looks sick. You know, you would be like, oh, she's ugly, get off, or something like that. But you don't. You know what I mean? Like, look at all the people you watch on YouTube. Like, you're not like, you know, you don't watch a person based on their skin color. You've got to be kidding me. That doesn't exist anymore. So, you know, if it doesn't, a very minority, not at what they're saying. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, we are way more, you know, we see each other way more as equals than we do as division. So anyway, going back to, so the station agent really goes into that. It really goes in when you watch it, it just is written so well. It's directed so well. And every single person in our group liked it. And that is one of the movies that they've asked to watch again. I think we've watched it 3 times now. They're like, the station agent. Like, remember when I said for 2 weeks we just watched movies that I love? Like, we didn't necessarily watch any new movies when I had my procedure. The Station Agent was one of those movies. Like, it was one of the movies. Like, I was like, what should we watch? And they're like, can we watch The Station Agent? They sound like kids sometimes. Can we watch it? Yeah. So sometimes they sound like little kids. But, I mean, we have a lot of celebrities in the groups. They can sound like kids. You Hollywood, you producers are like, yeah. So, so anyway, so now we're moving on to the next one, which is His Girl Friday. So, we have His Girl Friday, and that's Cary Grant. You have to know him. You absolutely have to know him. And I'm just really happy. We have so many new people. It's so good to have you guys, and it's good to be sitting up. His Girl Friday, you guys are going to love it. Have you noticed that the black and white films are freaking better than any of the new, like, color films that we've been watching? Am I the only one that's noticing that? Like, the black and white films freaking kick butt. So some of the, so it's kind of funny. I can't believe I didn't attract any of those people before. I'm kind of like, I must be doing something wrong. But now that I started talking about, like, going and looking at conservative things, I've actually had some conservatives start to watch me. I'm like, wow, I'm not that good of an independent then. If I'm just getting conservatives to watch me, I have conservative friends, but clearly I'm not a very good independent. So, but then again, I guess I didn't go see their videos until recently. I was so scared. So I'm programmed well by the leftists. So some of them have been emailing me and saying, like, go, you know, like, they watched the, whatchamacallit. I've got it in my head. I can see him. Jimmy Stewart. Still can't think of the thing. In Congress. Are we all with me? Like, they watched the previous Insider movies that we did. Jimmy Stewart's in the middle. Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. And they were just like, this is amazing. And I'm just like, well, no wonder you're not winning if you're not watching that movie. Like, just kind of like, every American should see that movie. Like, everyone in the world should see that movie. I think that it makes just people fight for equality and for themselves. Like, I think that it would make everyone stand up for their own freedom of speech, no matter where they are in the world. It makes you feel like, I feel like it builds up someone's human worth. Like, it makes you see all that you can do, like the power that each one of us truly holds, because we have done that. Like, history shows that each person has the ability to do that. Women have done it. Men have done it throughout history. 18-year-olds have done it. Like, we have an incredible amount of power. And we can do it with our voices, and we can do it with our writing. I mean, we are incredibly able. Humanity is incredibly able. And I feel like that Mr. Smith Goes to Washington shows what our system is actually able to do. And yeah, I think one of the guys that wrote in, he was just kind of like, he kind of made fun of us for watching it on election night. And I was just like, watch it. Yeah. I won that one. You guys know. So, yeah, I think we're all going to be watching it on election night from now on, right? So, anyway, I won that one. So, oh, my meds again. Oh, that's weird. Okay. All right. So I better go if my medicine's due. All right. So I am hurting. Okay. So that's okay. So I better wrap it up, you guys, since I haven't been doing so well. And I do have 2 doctor's appointments. I have to leave tonight for doctor's appointments. And it's a long trip, and you guys know how that go. I have to get into the car bed. So I hope you guys are enjoying. I did do my how to find a good doctor. I didn't publicize it too much because I was putting out a lot of research that was very, very important. But I'll put a link to it right here. How to find a good doctor. I really share some of my really hard-learned lessons on my story of how I found good doctors and 3 tips that you can use. And then I do 2 bonus tips on how to find, like, if you want to, a good therapist, and then also a tip for if you're disabled in your home at the end. So just, you know, that's for you, and if you want to use it. So anyway, so there is just Cary Grant, you need to know, Rosalind Russell, she is incredible. I remember I actually saw the movie His Girl Friday in school numerous times. They showed it a bunch of times, numerous teachers, and I moved a lot when I was young. And all the school districts I was in showed it to me in various different classes. There he is. Various different classes. And I wanted to be her when I grew up. I wanted to be her. She was a journal. Oh my gosh, maybe I am her. And cue my crying. I watched a video and I was just like, oh my gosh, I can't, the pain video. And I was just like, I just cry through it. And I was like, I have to take it down. And they were like, crying's your thing. And I was like, what? So now I'm trying not to cry during any of my videos, but they're like, but it's your thing. And I do not want it to be my thing. So you guys can tell me in the comments if you want it to be my thing. I do not want it to be my thing. So I am trying not to cry. So, but I really would be amazed if I'm going to have to watch it with you guys this weekend and see, like, because I just remember every time I saw it again and again, I was just like, I so want to be her. When you watch it, I dare you, woman, I dare you not to want to be her. I wanted to wear her fashion. I wanted to wear her little hat. I wanted to be smart. Like, oh, you've seen my, oh, maybe I did. Maybe I did. And that is why we need, like, really good media. That's why they changed. That's why Hill and Knowlton had that. That's why they hired Hill and Knowlton for that amazing media blitz on women, because it works. The media women see works. It works and it impacts you. I was looking at some of the media I grew up with, and there was like Julia Roberts in this like red shirt, and I'll try and post it on Twitter, and this huge hair and this red lipstick. And I was just like, gee, I wonder where I got my looks from, like the red in the hair and the butt. And I was just like, I just wonder what affected me as a little girl. And then seeing this girl on the screen. So we need things like that. You need to be showing your kids and your daughters that stuff. And yeah, I think that media is everything. Even though, like, I wasn't allowed to watch TV growing up. I wasn't even allowed to watch TV growing up. I hated that. All I got for media was what I got in the classroom. And maybe I am all the better for that. I had nothing in the home growing up. Like, I remember we got MTV or something when I was like 13 or whatever. And my mom saw like one video and she got it disconnected. And we were like, no. But I was so happy. They weren't showing any music videos, but I found some like early in the morning or something. But I was just like so happy, and that did not last. And by the way, if you saw it, that Clarence Thomas video, like, heck to the yeah. Like, yeah, I had one hell of a like I said, 3 books written on my upbringing, and 3 books. Like 3 books written on how bad my childhood was, because they were like, it's so fascinating how you're wired and how we've had to rewire you. Like, we've never seen a case like as bad as yours. Like, we had to rewire you. Do you hear me complaining about that? No, you hear me telling you how to get out of that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not like, oh, like, I can't get forward in life. Like, I complain about the freaking pain because no one's helping me out. But man, you pull yourself up. You pull yourself up, but you use what you got and get out of it. So, all right. My love is home. My love is home. And I am in pain. You can see it. Like, I'm like getting smaller and smaller. And I bet I can hear my friends on the other side of this thing going, take your meds. I better go take my meds. Peace out, guys. Have a good weekend. Enjoy the movies. I love you. Bye. Links are down below for all the Oscars 18 and everything like that, in the health video and stuff like that. Love you. Bye. And welcome to the newcomers. It's so good to have you. It's good to have everyone with us now. It's good to have everyone who believes in freedom, civilization, and freedom.